You've learned how to prompt AI effectively. You understand examples and task breakdown. But here's the frustrating part. You run the same prompt twice and get completely different results. Today we're tackling the consistency problem. By the end, you'll understand exactly why AI varies, what controls you actually have, and how to get reliable results every time you need them. Let me show you what I mean. Say you ask AI to write a professional email declining a meeting. The first time is brief, formal, apologetic tone. Perfect. The second time, it's long, casual, way too explanatory. Not what you wanted. Third time is medium length, friendly, direct. It's closer, but it's still different. It's the same exact input, but three wildly different outputs. This isn't a bug or a glitch. This variation is built into how AI works. But here's the good news. You can control it. Before we get into solutions, let's be clear about why this actually matters. Customer service needs consistent brand voice. When AI swings from formal to casual, it confuses customers and weakens trust. Reports need standard formats. When structures vary, reviewers waste time finding information instead of analyzing content. Analysis requires repeatable methodology. Different approaches to the same data set undermine your conclusions. And templates break the whole concept of scalable workflows. The thread connecting all of these, in each case, variation creates real problems that cost you time, credibility, or both. So here's what you need to understand. AI is designed to select from probability distributions. Every single word choice is a probability calculation. Think of it like rolling weighted dice for each word. The AI doesn't know the right answer. It's calculating which word is most likely based on patterns from training. Some words have a 70% probability, others 20%, 10%, 5%. The AI picks from these options, and even small probabilities mean different choices across runs. This means variation is a feature of the system, not a malfunction. Understanding this mechanism is the first step to controlling it. Variation comes from two distinct sources requiring different solutions. The first is built-in randomness, temperature settings and probability sampling at the system level. This is system-level variation that exists even with perfect prompts. Second, prompt-induced variation. Its unclear instructions leave room for interpretation. Missing context means AI fills the gaps with guesses. No examples mean AI has to imagine what you want. Unspecified format means AI chooses structure randomly. The crucial insight, built-in randomness you can minimize but never eliminate. Prompt-induced variation you can control completely. Most inconsistency problems come from the prompt, not from the system. Now here's the good news. You have four powerful levers to control consistency. Temperature controls randomness in the system itself. Prompt structure locks in clear instructions so AI interprets your request the same way every time. Examples anchor output patterns by showing AI exactly what success looks like. Constraints define explicit boundaries so AI knows precisely what limits to respect. Think of these as dials on a control panel. Each affects consistency independently, but they work together to create maximum reliability. Temperature is your most powerful lever against system-level randomness. Setting temperature low, the 0 to zero point 0.3 range, makes AI nearly deterministic. Same input produces almost identical output. Those weighted dice we mentioned, at low temperature, the heavy weights become extreme. The most likely word gets selected with near certainty. When do you want this? Well, extracting facts from documents. You want the same facts every time. Formatting data consistently. The whole point is identical structure. Following procedures. Variation creates errors. Generating standard responses. Consistency is the requirement. The pattern? Tasks where the right answer exists and variation adds no value. Most AI tools default to medium temperature around 0.7, but you can usually adjust it. Look for temperature or creativity settings and dial them down for consistent work. The structure of your prompt determines how consistently AI interprets what you're asking. Role definition establishes perspective. You are a professional email writer specializing in corporate communications. That activates specific patterns. Without this, AI bounces between interpretations of professional. Format specification removes ambiguity. Respond in exactly 3 bullet points, each under 15 words, leaves no room for interpretation. Step-by-step instructions guide AI through your exact process. Numbered lists eliminate the interpretation layer. You tell it which steps to take in which order. Output frame templates show complete structure. Use this structure, summary, details, next steps. Creates a framework AI fills in rather than invents. Each element reduces the degrees of freedom AI has. Fewer degrees of freedom means more consistent results. Examples are powerful pattern anchors. When you show AI what you want instead of describing it, you eliminate interpretation. It's like the difference between describing a color versus pointing to it. You could spend paragraphs explaining burgundy or just show it an example. The example is instantly unambiguous. The magic number is 2 to 3 examples. One might be coincidence. AI can't detect reliable patterns from a single point. 2 establishes the pattern. 3 creates a strong anchor AI reliably follows. Good examples show exact format, demonstrate desired tone through actual language, include all required elements, and represent typical use cases. When you provide these anchors, AI pattern matches against them with remarkable consistency. Constraints aren't limitations, they're clarity. The more specific your boundaries, the more consistent your results. Length limits remove ambiguity. Write exactly 100 words tells AI precisely when to stop. Without this, AI guesses, and that guess varies. Tone specifications set clear expectations. Professional but friendly, like a colleague helping another colleague, anchors tone better than just professional, which could mean anything. Content rules create consistent accessibility. Never use jargon without explanation, establishes a clear boundary. Format requirements establish predictable structure. Always start with a one-sentence summary, creates an anchor point in every output. The theme? Specificity compounds. Each constraint reduces variation multiplicatively. 4 clear constraints create dramatically more consistency than one constraint 4 times as detailed. Real power comes from combining all 4 levers. Low temperature reduces system level randomness. Structured prompt eliminates interpretation. Clear examples anchor exact patterns. Explicit constraints define boundaries. Each lever addresses a different source of variation. Temperature handles system randomness. Structure handles interpretation. Examples handle pattern ambiguity. Constraints handle boundary uncertainty. When you need rock solid consistency, customer communications, compliance documentations, automated workflows, use all 4 together. Each reinforces the others to create highly predictable outputs. Let's be realistic about limits. Some variation will always exist. Base model randomness persists even at temperature 0. Due to how neural networks process information, perfect repeatability is mathematically impossible. You'll get near identical results, not byte for byte duplication. Model updates change behavior over time. Providers regularly update models to improve performance. What works perfectly today might behave slightly differently after an update. Context interpretation introduces inherent variability. AI isn't deterministic like traditional software. It interprets meaning from context, and interpretation always involves uncertainty. Understanding these limitations sets realistic expectations. You're aiming for functional consistency, outputs that work the same way and serve the same purpose, even if exact words vary. Not every task needs maximum consistency. Understanding where your work falls on the spectrum helps you apply the right level of control. Perfect repeatability, data extraction, formatting, procedures, use all 4 levers, low temperature, maximum constraints. High consistency, email drafts, summaries, standard reports. The same structure and approach. Some word choice variation is fine. Use 3 or 4 levers with moderate settings. Moderate variation, content creation, analysis, recommendations, consistency in methodology, but flexibility in expression. 2 or 3 levers, medium temperature. Creative variation, brainstorming, creative writing, ideation. You actually want different outputs. High temperature, minimal constraints. The key, match your consistency approach to task requirements. Don't overconstrain creative work. Don't underconstrain mission critical processes. High stakes scenarios require maximum consistency. Customer facing communications represent your brand. Inconsistent tone damages trust. Customers start wondering if they're talking to the same organization. Compliance and documentation involve legal requirements. These demand exact formats and consistent language. Variation in compliance documents creates risk. Recurring workflows enable automation at scale. When processing hundreds of items through AI, automated processes break when outputs vary. Downstream systems expect specific formats. Data processing requires predictable formats. When extracting and transforming information, the next step depends on consistent structure. Variation corrupts downstream analysis. Pattern: in each case, consistency isn't nice to have, it's a requirement. And sometimes you actually want different outputs. Brainstorming needs multiple perspectives. If AI gives you the same three ideas every time, that's not brainstorming. Higher temperature generates genuinely diverse alternatives. Creative writing benefits from stylistic variation. Repetitive style gets boring. You want fresh phrasing, different structures, varied vocabulary. Exploring options requires alternatives to compare. If AI shows you the same solution three times, you haven't really explored options. You want multiple strategies to evaluate trade-offs. Problem solving on complex challenges benefits from different approaches. There's rarely one right answer. Let AI suggest multiple strategies and frameworks. The theme: in creative and exploratory work, consistency actually limits value. You want possibilities you wouldn't generate yourself, and that requires allowing variation. Now, never trust a prompt until you've tested it. And here's the simple process: the 3-run test. Run the same prompt 3 times without changing anything. Copy and paste identical input 3 times in succession. Compare outputs for meaningful variation. You're not looking word for word identity. That's impossible. You're looking for functional consistency. Same structure, same detail level, same tone, same format. If outputs vary significantly, adjust your levers based on what you observe. Did AI interpret differently each time? Add structure and examples. Did tone swing wildly? Add constraints. Was format inconsistent? Add explicit requirements. Then test again until outputs are acceptably consistent. Why 3 runs? Well, 2 might be coincidence. 3 reveals patterns. This takes 5 minutes but saves hours of frustration. Before running any important prompt, verify you've addressed all consistency factors. Temperature set appropriately, low for consistency work, high for creative work. Match settings to the task requirement. Prompt structure is specific, clear role, format, instructions, and template defined. No ambiguous language requiring interpretation. Examples included if needed. For complex outputs or specific formats, 2 to 3 examples anchor patterns reliably. Are your constraints explicitly stated? Length, tone, content rules, format requirements clearly specified. Tested it 3 times? Never deploy untested prompts. 3 runs reveal consistency issues before they become production problems. This checklist catches issues before they cost you time. 5 minutes of verification prevents hours of rework. Learn from these frequent errors. Expecting 100% identical outputs is unrealistic. Even with all the levers optimized, some variation exists. Aim for functional consistency. Outputs should serve the same purpose, not match byte for byte. Use high temperature for consistent tasks defeats the point. High temperature generates creative variation. If you're confused why outputs keep varying, check temperature first. Changing prompts without testing compounds problems quickly. Small prompt changes can create big output differences. Always test after modifications, even minor ones. No examples for complex patterns sets AI up to fail. Describing what you want isn't enough for complex formats. Show AI exactly what success looks like with 2 to 3 examples. All right, so let's recap what matters. Consistency is controllable, not automatic. AI will vary by default. You need to actively control it using the 4 levers we covered. Use all 4 levers for maximum reliability. Temperature, structure, examples, and constraints work together. Each one addresses a different source of variation. Test your prompts before relying on them. The 3-run test takes 5 minutes and prevents hours of frustration from inconsistent outputs in production. Match consistency level to your task needs. Don't over-constrain creative work where variation adds value. Don't under-constrain mission-critical processes where consistency is essential. Consistency transforms AI from a frustrating toy into a reliable tool. When you can count on predictable results, AI becomes genuinely useful for real work. And if you found this helpful, subscribe for more AI education that builds genuine understanding. We're building a complete mental model of how AI actually works, one video at a time. And if you need help implementing consistent AI workflows for your business, let's talk. We specialize in making AI actually work for real business problems. You can find us at eauclairai.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.